Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to class. It's week 9 of Contemporary Approaches to Leadership. And I am doing this short introductory video for the week. This will be our video announcement for the week, just to kind of give you guys an overview of the week and the activities and the topics and the assignments and all that stuff. So this week we're going to shift gears in terms of our study. Last week we looked at transformational leadership, which, as I mentioned at various points, has really been one of the dominant paradigms for 20 years or so in leadership studies. But in the mid-2000s, the gears began to shift a little bit, and researchers started to look at something which is called authentic leadership. And if you kind of look through the cracks and the threads of transformation, you'll see this idea of authenticity there, but it was really made much more explicit with the advent of authentic leadership as its own study. But part of the concerns that were raised during this time had to do with some of the ethical issues and some of the lack of authenticity that we were seeing in leaders. And so the idea of being authentic, being genuine, not just ethically, but letting your leadership really emanate from your life and your passion and who you are became part of the conversation. Now, as Christians, we've kind of glommed onto this one for a while. It's not brand new per se. We kind of connected, I feel, with this idea of our calling and our identity as leaders. And so we're going to review a couple of things this week in terms of course materials. We're going to look at an older lecture that I did on authentic leadership. Actually, this is part 2 of the lecture from last week. You may have noticed that about halfway through the video, it transitioned to authentic leadership. So I've loaded up that video in this week's course materials, and it's all ready to start right in the middle there at about 17 minutes in. It'll get into authentic leadership. Another thing I've provided for you this week is a lecture that I've done on my dissertation, which was Calling and Leader Identity. And it's a bit longer. It's a 3-part video, but I think it comes in at about 45 minutes altogether, so it's not too long. But what I did for my dissertation was I took a look at people's sense of calling and how it informed their sense of identity as a leader. And I took a real interesting approach. I did what was called a narrative approach to research, and I spoke to guys about their stories, and I pulled together themes across their stories, and I came up with what I call the 5 seasons of calling. And so I hope you enjoy that as well. I think that'll integrate authentic leadership with our Christian sensibilities and our sense of calling and passion in life as believers. So there's a couple of threads this week. One has to do with authentic leadership proper and using the ALQ that you'll find in North House, and the other one is a little bit more reflective and introspective and has to do with the 5 seasons of calling as reflected in your life. So I hope you find that a good exercise for you to do to help you think through where you've been in your life and your calling and how it develops your own sense of identity as a leader. Now, we have a project due this week. This is kind of our first project, really, and it is the book review, critique, reflection of Kouzes and Posner's Leadership Challenge. So hopefully you've been chugging away on that book as prescribed through our assignments, through our course syllabus throughout the semester, and it's due this week. So what I'm really looking for is, several things. One is a good summary of the book. I want to know that you guys get the contents of the book, that you really understand what's in there. And then I also want to see some good reflection and application. What were some of the things that really spoke to you? How do you think you can apply some of those ideas? How do they challenge your own leadership and what you feel is important as a leader? So we got a lot going on this week, kind of a busy week with those discussions and then that book report. So hopefully you guys dig in and you get a lot out of it. I hope this is a good learning experience for all of you. So that's about it. Look forward to working with you in the discussion, and let's have a great week together. So blessings to you, and we'll see you online.